Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Crystal with Crystal's Literary Lounge, and today I'm talking about the Readathon that is coming up in August. So Maggie from Maggie's Books and Stuff is hosting a romance readathon for the month of August, and I decided to go ahead and participate in this readathon. I will leave a link down below to Maggie's channel where it discusses the readathon that's going on. So I have joined the Wallflowers team, and I myself feel like I'm a wallflower, so I thought that what seemed just right. And I'm working on the books that I plan to read during this readathon. Some of these I have physical copies of, some of these will be on my Kindle, but I thought I'd go through, and this is my to be read for the readathon. So first up, it's To Tame a Highland Warrior by Karen Marie Monin. So it's been years since I've read this book, probably 12 years, but it is number 2 in her Highlander series, and I absolutely loved this book whenever I read it. So it's a medieval Scottish romance book. The first book in the series has like a time traveling element to it, so if you like that, that book is good too. But book 2 follows Grimm, and he's in hiding. He's actually a chief, but he ran away as a very young child because this other clan wanted to kill him. And so there's like this blood vendetta against him and his whole family, like his whole bloodline. So he comes from a line of berserkers, and when he runs away, he ends up stumbling throughout the woods, and he comes across this other child who's a few years younger than him, and her name is Jillian. So she asked her dad, she's like, "Dad, can I keep him?" Because her dad, he would always take in boys who were like orphans, and he would train them and educate them and then find them like positions and stuff. So Grimm eventually leaves once he's like grown up, and he goes out on his own, and he doesn't hear back for a while. So it's been many years since he and Jillian have been together, but they always liked each other. But he was like, well, I'm a little too old for her. And of course, she was just like in love with Grimm the whole time. So it's now her birthday. She's come of age. Her parents want her to marry, and they really want her to marry Grimm because they know that that's the person that she really, truly wants to be with. So Grimm suddenly gets this letter out of nowhere, and it says, "Come for Jillian." That's it. That's all it says. "Come for Jillian." So he's like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with Jillian? I gotta go. So he goes and gets to her castle and realizes that it was kind of a boy her parents set up. He's not sure why. He doesn't think he's good enough to be with their Jillian. But in reality, her parents are hoping that by hosting this tournament or this game to like win her over, that she'll actually realize that Grimm's the one for her, and Grimm will realize that he loves Jillian. But they have other characters who are involved, and they're all trying to win her heart, and it's super cute. I love it. The next one is, I actually have a physical copy of this book. So this is Kinley McGregor, A Dark Champion. It's been like 15 years since I've read this book. I don't remember a whole lot about the plot line, but I remember that I really, really enjoyed it whenever I read it the first time. So it's Strider, and this whole series, I'm pretty sure this is like book 1 in the Kinley McGregor series. It's actually, so this is the pen name for Sherilyn Kenyon, and it's the Brotherhood of the Sword series. And so it's a Scottish Highlander romance, and each book follows like a band of knights and their warriors, and they pledge their allegiance to one another. They were actually kidnapped when they were each young, or whenever they were fighting in like battles, or some were stolen from their parents, and they banded together and they have like the secret society. And this one, basically this lady, Rowena, she kind of gets into a little bit of a situation, and Strider has to save her. So continuing on with the Highlander theme, the next book that I plan to read is The Chief by Monica McCarty, and it is book 1 in the Highland Guard series. So it follows Chieftain Tor McLeod. He's been chosen to train an elite force of warriors to protect and spy for Robert the Bruce. So Christina is the heroine, and she comes from like an abusive home, and her dad is using her as like a pawn in his game. So she ends up getting thrust into Tor's life, and he has to marry her, and it's basically he doesn't trust her, and he's on like the secret mission for Robert the Bruce, and so she's trying to like win her husband's heart. She eventually does, and he eventually realizes that she's not like her father. Her father's like a real jerk. Of course, can't do a romance readathon and not have some Bridgerton books here. So these 3 Bridgerton books I plan to read is The Duke and I. Of course, I love this book. It's one of my favorites. I love Simon and Daphne's story. Simon is just such a broken hero, and Daphne is just so wonderful and just really figures out how to reach Simon, and their story is just so beautiful and well written. And then I also plan on reading, so this is because of Miss Bridgerton. This is really cute. So this is before the events of the Bridgertons themselves. She is Billy Bridgerton, so she's like an ancestor, and she wants to marry one of these brothers. She gets into this like sort of situation, and this is sort of like not necessarily enemies to lovers, but they've kind of not been on the best of terms. And so she and George end up falling in love, and they get into some cute and hilarious situations. So I've read this book before. It's been a few years, but I remember absolutely loving it. So, and then I'm also planning on reading When He Was Wicked. Out of all of the Bridgerton books of the original siblings, this one is probably like my absolute favorite. It is, of course, Francesca's story, and she has kind of like a tragic story at the beginning because her husband, who's her true love, he passes away, and his cousin, who she's been like best friends with, and he was best friends with, the cousin has always loved her, and his name's Michael, but he, of course, had to hide his feelings because it's his cousin's wife, who's also his best friend. So they're kind of dealing with the fallout, and then they eventually come together and realize that they do love each other and that they've been in love with each other for many, many years. And then I also plan on reading Lisa Kleypas' Devil in Disguise, Book 7 of the Ravenel series. I haven't read it yet, so it's came out in 2021, and I love that series. Absolutely love everything that Lisa does, and so I'm looking forward to reading that for the first time. And last that I have chosen for my to be read is Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies. So I haven't read this yet. I'm super excited. It's, of course, by Jane Austen and then Seth Grahame-Smith. So I love the movie, and I watch the movie every Halloween. It is awesome. So I'm really excited to read this because it's got zombies. And of course, like my channel, all about anything out there paranormal and with romance to it. So super excited for the upcoming readathon, and I can't wait. So I hope that you'll, if you haven't yet, give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more content. I'll be posting all about the readathon and my reviews and stuff for the books and how everything's going coming up. So thank you. See you in the next video.